dun, 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 and you're just, you're just tapping that, and we would do it for 5 or 10 minutes. Well, actually, I just pulled it up on YouTube, as you know, and the song is 8.5 minutes long, so that was a problem.
Yeah.
How much me and you, we really practiced a lot. We were a very practicing band.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I was there every single day in practice for 2-3 hours a day, even if nobody else was there to practice, you know. And I would do it to where I had my the headset on plugged into the CD player with every single song we had finally picked for the set list on that CD, and I was playing it to like exactly how the song was trying to be played. So I mean, that's one reason why we got flagged on YouTube, a couple of years ago for what was it, My Hero? Oh yeah, Foo Fighters. Yeah, and I mean they wanted us to take it down because we was almost playing it too good.
No, they didn't make us take it down. They just seized all profits and they put ads on it and then kept the money for it.
Ah, okay, yeah. Wow.
Claims for it, so we just couldn't make money off of it. But it was to their advantage to leave it up so they could make money off of it.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But
It wouldn't.
I kind of gave her a pat on the back of it,
Oh yeah, I took it as a compliment completely.
It was so close to the sound of Foo Fighters that we got flagged as actually being Foo Fighters, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I took.
Even if that hadn't happened, I think that we wound up with not even 1,000 views, so the money we would have made anyway would have been like...
Yeah, I mean, we didn't push it.
We're going to split this equally. We each get a penny.
Yeah, we didn't try and push it, past, to try and get anybody to look at it, really, so.
Yeah.
And that was way early, like a year or two later when we actually had the band going. We made that song sound a lot better than then.
Scott was a great singer. He didn't give himself enough credit. He was just anxious about it. He was so not confident that that's what the only thing that held him back was just his lack of confidence, but I always liked him as a singer.
I did too. I thought he was a good frontman. He just didn't quite see it yet.
Yeah, he had a good person. Yeah, he was just a good front guy, just a good all around.
Right.
All the way.
What before the pandemic hit, what was the last concert you got to go to?
Let's see. It would have been a festival. Queens of the Stone Age. No, it was after that. It was when I went to Shaky Knees. That's it, with Jennifer.
Okay.
And the bands. It was Tame Impala, but we actually skipped that. They were the big headline act. I hate that we missed it, but we were tied up in a hotel room after 3 or 4 days there.
Right.
Just, it was a really nice suite. So we're like, hey,
just hang out here, yeah.
Group Love. That's the one I think that might have been the last one, and I got some video of that. It was the second or third time I've seen them. They're a really great band in concert. They do a cover of Sabotage by Beastie Boys that's unexpected. Well, the first time I heard them do it, it was unexpected, and it was awesome. It was in the rain, too.
Right, huh.
That made it even more awesome. They were one of the only bands that would come out and play in the rain. Everybody else packed it up, so I appreciated that.
Yeah. I wonder when we're going to get back to that, like when they're going to open up for concerts, and I'm guessing it'll be next year.
Yeah, next year. Everything's like that.
Yeah.
Travel's closed off. I've been wanting to get out of Dodge.
And
but the other countries won't let Americans in until next year. So it's funny now they want the Trump wall just to keep us in.
yeah, right. Yeah, and it looks like the sports too. I mean, they're doing terrible as far as ratings go. Basketball.
Yeah, I'm barely aware.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was like they call it playoffs already.
It's really my phone notifications. Nobody really talks about any sports on like Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
But my phone will let me know. Like last time I looked, the score in the Mets and Braves, even though I wasn't even aware they were playing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm just sports is just kind of whack. I am hopeful for the NFL, though. That's the one sport I really get into anyway, that and college football, but mostly the Falcons.
Well, a lot of people are college football is supposed to be kicking off and all.
Yeah, but a lot of them aren't playing, though. SEC is going to play, but Big Ten isn't, and independents are. So you're only going to, I think ACC is and SEC.
I mean, that's all I watch anyway is SEC. So, I mean,
they're only going to play each other. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what a lot of people have been waiting on anyway, is a lot of these teams just playing each other. I mean,
by having the SEC being, from top to bottom, clearly the best conference. If you took the third best SEC team, they would beat a lot of the best
Pac-10. Yeah.
But if you're playing each other, like that's my argument. What if the NFL had a division in college football, and they just called it the NFL division, the NFL conference, and in that conference was the 12 or 16, however many playoff teams made it.
Right.
So you just had like the Patriots and just the best, the playoff teams, and you stick them in a college conference along with the SEC and ACC and Big Ten, but you make them play each other. Well, even from day one, when all the records are 0-0, it's week one, Friday before the Saturday where all the college teams play. I guarantee you the NFL teams, the Patriots and the Chiefs and all, they're going to be ranked. They're going to just be the top 10.
Right.
You're not going to put Alabama ahead of Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
But if the NFL conference only plays itself, well, then at the end of the season, none of those NFL teams will probably even be ranked in the top 10 because they're all going to beat each other. They'll all have 2 or 3 losses.
Yeah.
But a team like Ohio State that only played Michigan and whatever, they may be undefeated and they'll be number 1, even though Kansas City is going to beat them 70-3.
Right.
If they play. But yeah, it's going to throw the ranking. That's the interesting part of college this year to me is that you've got some conferences that are playing and some that aren't.
Right.
So how do you rank these two? And they only play each other inside the conference. So how do you rank a Clemson?
Right. Yeah, I think like Georgia's already 3 or 4.
Yeah, so think about Clemson now. If they only play ACC, what's in the ACC? The Citadel, they just got South Carolina.
Georgia Tech. Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise they're just going to crush all the other teams.
Right.
By huge margins. Meanwhile, Alabama is going to be playing LSU, Auburn, Georgia, Florida. You know what I mean?
So I'm saying that right there, some killer games. Every one of them. Every game should be killer.
Yeah, if any team comes out of the SEC undefeated after playing all the other SEC teams and they're still undefeated, they're going to be number 1.
Yeah.
No matter what the rest of the country does, right?
Yep.
So, but that's just almost I don't think that's going to happen. I think every SEC team is going to have a couple of losses.
Right.
Just playing each
other.
Well,
like the Sooners, are they playing?
I don't think so.
See, I see. Yeah, okay.
12 are playing, so it's just going to be SEC versus Clemson.
Right.
Because Clemson is surely going to go undefeated,
Mm-hmm.
Because they play nobody. They play the Alcorn State Vocational School for the Blind 3 times. So
right.
It's different than LSU and Florida and all that, so.
Yeah.
So this will make them.
It'll be interesting.
For them to restructure the system of which they should. Why do sports writers decide?
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna whatever town you're in, you're probably gonna bump your home team up more than anybody else would, just because that's But
right.
I don't see. I guess sports writers supposedly analyze it more, but still. I don't know. It just seems a very arbitrary, weird way to.
Yeah, they're just. Yeah, I don't know if they're really concerned about ranking it just as much, just getting them out there.
I guess it's the equivalent. Think about the Olympics, which is amateur sports, but especially the summer is different. I know the summer's got the gymnastics, but there's so many Olympic sports that are won by judges or determined by judges. You're not putting a ball in a basket or crossing the goal line to score.
By points, yeah.
Do a special routine or dance thing, or and then judges a great dive, and then judges just hold up a number. That was a 9.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Kind of. I got you. Like the floor routine.
And I'm like, that's a pretty damn arbitrary. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just liked you as the best. So
Yeah.
you're the champ.
You had a little. You had a little more pizzazz than the other contestants. Yeah.
So.
I liked your jazz fingers.
What if you did football that way? That'd be interesting.
Pick the team that just kind of looked.
There's no scoreboard. It's just at the end of it, the judge, the referees just hold up a number. That touchdown was worth 4 points. He had no style. He didn't do a dance when he crossed the line. I'm just giving him 4 points for that.
I'll tell you a team. That was, I guess, underrated. I mean, they did all right. I don't think they ever actually went and win anything. But when the Eagles had, what was it, Michael Vick? Man, they had like the 5 of the fastest NFL players in the league on their team.
Michael Vick, man, what a waste he was in Atlanta, because we had him in the worst system. We put him in a West Coast, which is like the opposite of what you should do.
Well, you should have him, yes.
Run and shoot, just 4 or 5 wide.
He had an arm, but you couldn't beat those legs.
Right. Once they stretch the field, he's got the option of running with the open field every time or throwing it with his best arm in.
That was his best moments, is when he broke off to run, but still maybe found someone to throw it to, is because when he took off, everybody's like, oh shit, and they had to move from their positions. Then he just would, he had a bullet too. He would throw the shit out of that thing.
He would flick his wrist. He didn't really rear back and throw. He just kind of had this little wrist flick, and boom, the ball would just fly.
Yep.
He was amazing, but we put him in this little dink and dunk West Coast offense where you just throw screen passes and 5-yard passes and some play action pass run, just
right.
Generic, it's been run for years and nothing innovative about it. But right before that, when we had Jerry Glanville, that crazy coach that was Elvis with Elvis and the cowboy hat.
Oh yeah. I remember him.
Well, he ran. It was called the red gun, but it was really the run and shoot, where every play, and we did well with it. As long as you have fast players, it's the best thing for you. Especially if you're in a stadium and you don't have snow and rain, then you can really run it. But the gist of it is, you put in 4 or 5 receivers, you'll have one running back behind the quarterback, and normally in a run and shoot, you just stretch the field out and you can hand it off because you got an open field. But if you got Michael Vick, you don't need any running back behind you.
Right.
It's
probably best not to have one. Yeah.
Right. We should have put in 5 speed receivers, little guys that ran 4.3 40s, and just sent them all deep every damn play. You gas the defense immediately.
Right.
After 3 plays, they've all ran 40-yard dashes.
And then you run Vic, see what he can do.
Whenever in the open field, you can't run Vic on a goal line stand. But in the open field, he's one of the greatest of all time. When the safety's 40 yards down the field, he's going to bolt,
Yeah.
So that should have been what we stayed in. But we
Yep.
changed coaches when we got him. And the coach was just, he was just too conservative. He was old school, run and pound, little short passes.
Yeah, yeah. And I hated that. I hate the little runs.
That super cannon arm he had, it was just terrible.
I hate the bad situation, run up the middle for 2 yards. You know what I'm saying? I never liked that, especially when you got guys with so much speed that if they would just bust it out to the outside just a little bit, they could get 15, 20 yards, maybe even a touchdown. But no, run them up the middle where everybody's at, and the hole ain't there, closed up on them. Just.
Yeah.
And now we got, let's see, so you got Matt Ryan. Did he sign another contract?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
He's top 10 or top 5 paid. At the time he he signed it, he had the biggest contract in the NFL. But since then, you've had the kid from Kansas City, and now he's probably like fourth or fifth place.
Right.
I think Aaron Rodgers got a new giant contract.
Well, you did. Was surprised. Well, I guess it's going to be a year or two, but you did have a huge amount of quarterbacks in the draft, I think, this year, didn't we? Because I know I watched a quarterback, like all these coming up from college.
Right. Yeah, you did have some big ones.
A bunch of them. The guy from Clemson, Sunshine.
Tagovailoa.
Yeah, him.
And but he didn't go first. A-Bear from LSU did. Not A-Bear. Damn, what's that kid's name?
Jim. No. Fuck, what's his name? Joe something, ain't it?
Yeah. God, that's crazy. That's how out of the.
Yeah, I can't remember right now.
We can't even remember who's the number one pick. I mean, I can see him in my head, but
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
I see his face. I just can't think of his name. But yeah, I know he's not.
The kid he beat in the championship, the long-haired boy from Clemson.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to think of. I call him Sunshine.
Yeah, but how is this going to affect it? Think about all those players that stayed, they're like for their last year, but now they don't get to play. So now how do you get drafted and all that? So
yeah. They'll have some kind of special workout, I'm sure, for.
They'll probably just invite way more players to the combine next year.
Yeah. They'll probably have a couple of little, like, semi-combines, right before it, just to kind of test everybody out. Or that's what I would do.
Think about all those players, though. Let's say you're a college athlete and you don't have any money much, and all of a sudden they shut down football and it's your senior year. Are you going to be able to stay disciplined enough to be in tip-top combine shape and all that?
Well, if you're not, then you probably wasn't ready for it,
Right.
Because I mean, there's plenty of you. There's easy to go buy you a football, and get you. If most likely you probably got a couple of athletic friends around if you into that.
Well, the combine is very specific.
Just keep working out.
Bench press so many times. You got to run a 40-yard dash.
Yeah. And that's easy enough, though. I mean, really,
if you just focus, actually, it may help you. If instead of playing football, all you did was
focus on your your abilities, your athletic abilities, making that better instead of worrying about.
Spend your whole year working on improving your vertical leap and just doing exercises and weight training just to add 2 inches to your vertical leap. You probably add at least an inch or two,
Yeah.
So it probably wind up helping a lot. It'll probably.
And too, think about this: how many of them might have gotten hurt that senior year and not get to play NFL again.
The draft is really going to be interesting because you're right. It probably means there's going to be more players in it just because nobody got injured.
Yep, no injuries.
Right.
And like you said, it's only going to be on the ones that really focus and said, all right, I got this time that I can just work out.
You have a lot of them that gain 20 pounds and
right.
One is eating, little
but for if you're an offensive lineman, that's good. You didn't work. You gaining weight because you ain't out there working too hard out in the heat and having because them summer combines or not combines, but practices. For football, man, that shit kill you.
Yeah, but them
out there sweating all year.
Left guard showing up looking like a sumo wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered that. Why doesn't the NFL sign sumo wrestlers? I mean, that's the whole event is blocking a guy, and trying to shut him out of this circle. That's exactly the job of an offensive lineman.
Well, you would think too, like Hawaii, College of Hawaii or whatever. I would think they would have like some of the biggest linemen you could find, and
I'm guessing sumo wrestling probably pays way more, actually.
Yeah, it was individual.
If you're a wrestler in Japan, you're probably paid more than a quarterback would be in the NFL. So
probably close to it.
Why bother with trying to learn football?
Same thing. They know more about actually pushing somebody around and how to kind of make them fall and stuff.
Yeah. But they get no accolades. Like, nobody, even hardcore fans of football, only the most hardcore can name the offensive lineman, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, even people that may be wearing the gear and can name your quarterback, you know, all the skill positions. They can't tell you who the the right guard is or the center.
Right.
You know, so where in Japan, you're a rock star. Well, you know,
oh yeah, yeah,
a wrestler, so you get more fame and more fortune.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when I was in high school, I played baseball. Could have walked on to a college, Bruton Parker, but never went and played there or nothing. But being now, if I could travel back in time and go back to high school, I would have played golf or ran track. You know, an individual sport, not
the best one, because it's the one that takes the least out of you, the easiest one to learn, and not as many people are into it, so it should be easier to get a scholarship. You know.
Which one?
Golf.
Golf, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I think I could have actually done well at golf too. I can play, you know, or used to anyway before I stopped playing. But yeah, because I mean, when we was playing baseball, we were really good, but you couldn't really get people to come watch, like a scout to come watch you, unless your team was just this crazy, you know, or you were like just crushing home runs out or something. I mean, and I wasn't a home run hitter. I was best at everything else though. And it just, like I said, now I think I could have went and played golf. Probably went to Georgia or somewhere for playing golf.
I had a short baseball career. I was in the surreal T-ball league. I was a pitcher. I was the only pitcher to ever hit a batter with a ball in T-ball.
In T-ball. Oh man. Yeah. I haven't watched the Braves at all though. I don't know. I heard they were actually doing pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was tied according to my phone, but I didn't even click on it to see what inning it was or anything.
Yeah.
Braves broke my heart too many times. I just finally gave up on them. I won't even, when they make the playoffs, I don't hardly watch. If they make the World Series, I'll watch the World Series.
Right, but you just kind of already know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
We've tasted the Falcon thing killed me. I'm still kind of upset about that, and people love to share memes about that shit.
Yeah, that's a tough one to live down.
I just don't know what happened. What y'all did in that locker room at halftime to come out and...
The same thing he did to his team in the next Super Bowl. You know, with the 49ers.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of years later.
Yeah,
yeah. Get you a big lead and then not hang on. Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to keep trying, you know, at some point you got to look at the clock and say, you know, and take note of it. You know?
Right.
You need to run the ball once in a while to eat the clock up.
I know.
It was like a situation where he was outthinking himself.
Oh yeah, every time.
He had the victory in hand easily. You know, anybody playing Madden would be like, okay, now it's time to run the ball.
Like that's what I'm saying. I would rather have a Michael Vick that's not really thinking. He's just naturally reacting to what he sees and is going on, instead of Matt Ryan, who just automatically thinks he knows what's, you know, just the best. He knows exactly what's going to happen. You know, he needs to, all that. It just never works out. Like, he's got a noodle for an arm as well. He's not really.
You mentioning Vic made me think again, because God, we just totally squandered that guy. But we never really signed a great receiver while we had him. And, and at the time, Randy Moss was available, and I'm like, that's the dream team, because they had the same style. Moss barely ran routes, and if it wasn't a play directed at him, a pass play, he wasn't going to go block. He was just
he just kind of runs around. Yeah,
he was a backyard. Both of them were just backyard, schoolyard and they were just the most amazing of all time.
Right.
They would just let their talent beat you.
Yeah.
You know, their monsters just, I'm just going to outrun you and outjump you, and and if we both catch it, I'm going to snatch it out. You know, because I'm the greatest.
He's seen it as when it was his play. That's when he's gonna shine.
He was unstoppable when he wanted to be. Same as Big.
I really like T.O. Terrell Owens.
Yeah, me too.
Man, if they could have got him over there to Atlanta during that time, ooh.
They were both there during that Vic era, and we just wouldn't.
They wouldn't go after him. I think there was a chance to get T.O. and they didn't go after it.
Right. But with either one of those guys running down the field with the rest of the receivers and forcing them to have to double one of those guys, because we never had a guy who had a double.
Yeah.
And we had Roddy White, but he wasn't fast. He didn't really need to, you know.
Man, if we'd have had Julio back then.
Yeah, exactly. We just needed to match with that awesome arm of his, a receiver that could run, you know, use that deep ball. And then once you stretch that defense out, when they got two guys with Randy Moss 50 yards down the field, he can take a look and say, I'll just run it now for 30 yards.
Yep.
Because all the defense is all the way down to the other end of the field.
That's why I liked.
I just got to outrun a defensive lineman, which Michael Vick could outrun every defensive lineman and linebacker in the NFL. So once he got past that layer, it was all she wrote.
Right. Yeah, that's why I've always been a Falcons fan, but for a couple of years or so during it was Dallas Cowboys. You know, that was America's team during this too. It was Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. I mean, they're all of them, dude. You couldn't beat that team for shit. Like, I don't care what you did. That was it, man. They had the squad.
Alan Harper too, who sucked when he left for Tampa Bay, but he was great for Dallas.
Yeah. And who else said that? It was Larry Allen or was they there?
They had the greatest offensive line ever at the same time. So yeah, they were just
crazy good.
Down the field at will, pretty much. They had too many weapons.
Yep. Crazy good. That's the type of team I'd love to have for the Falcons. But I don't know. Matt Ryan to me just ain't. If he's hadn't done it, he ain't gonna do it. Like, it just ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I feel like
he's had his chance.
Buffalo Bills, you know, who went 4 straight years and found a way to lose every time.
Mm-hmm.
So they would get either blown out or, you know, they missed one on a field goal. Just the guy missed it. You know, wide right. They just sneak bit. You know, it feels like all 4 years of Buffalo Bills Super Bowls went into that 28-3 loss. You know,
we've always had good kickers, though. I can't blame the kickers.
Yeah.
Morton Anderson.
Yeah, he was our best.
Yeah. Who was the last? Matt Bryant.
Matt Bryant. Yeah. He was up there.
He's good.
But Morton Anderson's the best.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He was the best for us and the Saints. That's what's crazy about him. He was so good. He was both of our best kickers.
He was just a legendary kicker.
Yeah.
Could have went anywhere and kicked. He would have been good.
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of sneaky how we got him. They just didn't, because he'd already been with them for like 10 years and broke all their records in the Superdome. And then when his contract came up, when he was like 39 or 40, I mean, they just signed it to the minimum, or they did one of those, I don't know, for whatever reason, we snatched him up when we had the opportunity, and they made them pay for it. You know, that just blew all their fans' minds.
Right.
They let them do that.
Shit happens.
Our greatest kicker of all time. So.
What is it Washington Redskins? Didn't they change their name?
Yeah, but I don't think they've picked a name, or did they pick a name? I think right now they're just calling it the Washington team or Washington football.
The Washington Skins.
Like
Let's just call it the Skins.
Well, you would think they used to be called, or there was a team called the Senators, or it might have been a baseball team actually.
Well, didn't you have the General? Well, no, that was New Jersey Generals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do like the Washington.
Weird, like you either got to be an animal. You've got concepts though, like the Browns. What if it's just named after a guy, or the Green Bay Packers.
Well, yeah, but then don't they have in their dog a mascot? Isn't a dog a mascot for the Browns?
Yeah, they use
That makes no sense.
Dogs.
Yeah.
But they used the Browns, named after the owner way back then. Like Bob Brown, whatever his name was. Clearly it was Brown, but But then you got and the Buffalo Bills. That one's weird as hell too, because one, Buffalo Bill was like this cowboy in the Old West, but he was never in New York.
Right.
He was out west. And and the Bills. So, but their logo is a buffalo.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just the name. Yeah, right.
So is the Cowboy's name Bill then? Buffalo
Bill?
Bill?
There was a cowboy back in the Old West called Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
And I guess in